Well, Eddie, forget what you were told as a kid, OK?
Forgotten.
All right, good. That's the advice when it comes to some of the most common healthy eating tips.
This morning we're busting the top 10 food myths with clinical nutritionist Sarah Di Lorenzo. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Edwina. Good morning,
We have
Basil.
quite the spread here. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, what are the most common misconceptions about this?
Basically, well, these are all things we were told as a kid, and they just come with all different food trends. So food trends from the 90s and different various sort of ways of thinking with eggs and different things is what people were created as food myths. So as a kid, we were told a lot of things that simply aren't true.
Oh, I mean, some of those will knock your socks off. I mean, cereal is a great breakfast food, for example. We all kind of think that.
Well, that depends on who's funding that study, right? Who's funding that study?
And also, you know, what sort of cereals you're eating as well. Low-fat products are better for your waistline than high-fat. That's not true
So that is definitely not true.
So low-fat, so basically it is very counterintuitive, but low-fat products actually make you fatter. What we know is when you remove the fat from a product, it's going to, it's not going to satiate you. So generally, people who skimp on the fat will fill up on sugar and carbohydrates.
Okay.
So again, we can see that with diets like the keto diet, that fat actually makes people slimmer. So yeah, that's an absolute myth that low-fat products are higher.
But is that just because of that lack of discipline following that?
It's because you're hungry. You don't get satiated. Fat keeps you full, so you're not. You definitely, if you have a full-fat product, you're not going to be hungry in an hour. You get that nice slow release of energy.
So that covers the milk. So definitely choose full cream over low-fat if you can.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
Cereals. What's good in this department?
Okay, so when we look at cereals, so the myth was breakfast cereal is a fantastic option, right? But what we know, and that of course is what we know is a better option is to have something with a nice low glycemic index that's going to give you a nice slow release of energy through the day. Eggs, as I've got here, which you can try, Basil. I've got some yogurt with some berries. Good, your protein, your fibre, your good fats. Breakfast, so glycemic index is a range over 100. The higher the glycemic index, the quicker it is absorbed and processed and digested. You're going to be hungry in about an hour. Something like a Greek yogurt has got a glycemic index around 11. All breakfast cereals sit around 70. If you choose to keep breakfast cereals in your diet, throw some yogurt on top. It will satiate you and give you a nice slow release.
And there are definitely, you can taste the sugar in some of these cereals versus there are some sort of low GI cereals as well.
There is some, and that's getting into things like the oats. So they're bringing down to a GI around 55. So you'd be pulling that down lower.
All right, what about, sorry, Sarah, margarine versus butter? I mean, that's an age-old myth. I still don't know which
can I just say, that's from the 1990s. That is the food. Margarine was the toast topper of the 90s. Everyone was obsessed with low fat in the 90s. That is so not true. Margarine, it's highly processed. Historically, it contains trans fats. Trans fats are bad for our cholesterol. Butter is a concentrated dairy fat. It's a wonderful product that should be had in moderation in its form, and it is delicious. And that is a myth. Another myth was that oil was bad for you. I remember that as a kid. Now I'm really showing my age, but I remember that oil was bad for you. No, it's not. 2 tablespoons of oil, especially something monounsaturated olive oil, is amazing. And then moving into yogurts.
Finally, the good oil on that. With the yogurts, I mean, there are good and there are bad yogurts.
So the myth was all yogurt's good for you, right? That was the idea of it. When you look at yogurts, there is such a diverse range of yogurts in the dairy cabinet. We've got some yogurts that are super sweet, and we've got them with low fat, with added sugar, and there's a whole variation. We've got things sprinkled in them and various kind of additives. And then my advice on the yogurt thing is just to go for a really good quality plain yogurt that you can add your cinnamon, your nutmeg, and you can add it to it.
And then it becomes delicious.
And you're in control of it. So they're the myths.
The very last one was carrots, are good for your eye. I've been eating carrots to be able to read the auto cue. I've been wasting my time.
Can I just tell you quickly about carrots? That's World War II myth.
Right.
Carrots,
that goes way back for you, Baz. You're older than I thought. Sarah, thank you so much.